Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Back2Viz Basics how-to. Before we get into our how-to for today and tutorial, let's go over what Back2Viz Basics is, our challenge for this week, where to find the data, and everything else you need to know about the project. All right, so Back2Viz Basics is a data community project dedicated to building foundational data viz skills. So every 2 weeks, we release a new challenge with data. So you can see our challenges here on our website. So if you go to the tablostudentguide.com and check out Viz Basics, Back2Viz Basics, you'll see all of our challenges over here. We've been running this program for 3 years previously. So we are only 4 weeks into our 2025 challenge. For this week, we have visualizing change over time. And this week is a really exciting challenge because we are collaborating with the Data Plus Women Tableau user group. So we are recognizing and celebrating International Women's Day. So we are partnering up with them. And so our data set, I'll get into that in just a second, but for this one, we're actually kind of doing a challenge or competition. We don't typically do a competition for these community projects, but we wanted to make this one a little bit more fun and engaging. So make sure you sign up for this event on March 25th. This is where we're going to be revealing our top 3 submissions for our Data Plus Women and Back2Viz Basics challenge. You have to submit your visualization in our submission tracker, which I'll share in just a second. And you have until the 12th of March to submit visualizations for this challenge. The top 3 winners will get some swag provided by Data Plus Women. So make sure that you share out your visualizations and you submit them in our tracker. That is the only way to qualify for our challenge for this event. Like I said, if you're new, we don't typically do a challenge like this where there's a competition aspect to it. It's really down to just your own accountability and staying on top of our weekly challenges. But we do them every 2 weeks, and we'll share out things. I do this how-to video, and we also do some tips and tricks provided by Shreya. So let's go ahead and take a look at our data for this week and our challenge. So like I said, we're collaborating with the Data Plus Women Tableau user group in honor of International Women's Day, which is March 8th this year, so 3 days away. And our data for this week actually comes from the Higher Education Statistics Agency. And we are looking at student enrollments in higher education across the UK. So kind of a bigger data set than what we typically work with in our usual Back2Viz Basics challenges. Usually we work with, just a few rows and not too many columns. We try to keep it really simple. That way you're just focusing on the visualization itself. But for this week, we kind of have a lot more going on with our data set. So you'll definitely want to pay attention to our different fields. Make sure you understand all the different values within those fields. We have our whole data dictionary here on data.world. I get this question every time, but if you click on the link here to go find the data, and it brings you to data.world and it says, oops, this page cannot be found. That is not true. The page is actually here. You just need to log in and have a data.world account. I get this question every week, and someone tells me that my link is broken. That is not true. So make sure that you log in, and then you'll be able to view the data. So data.world updated their security over the past year. So it's just an extra thing that you have to do. You have to make sure that you're logged in. All right, so our challenge for this week is visualizing change over time. And now that's a bit of a broad category. Typically, we kind of drill things down to build a text table or build a multiple line chart or build a bar chart. And while there are many ways to view those other things, visualizing change over time can be done in many ways. Now, if you're stuck, one of the things that I suggest is searching visual vocabulary. If you are involved in the Tableau space at all, this is probably something that you've heard. This is created by Andy Kriebel. I think this is the most favorited viz on Tableau Public, but it is a great way to kind of, have some stepping stones on how should I visualize this data. If I'm working, if I need to visualize a ranking or a distribution. Here I'm on the change over time tab. And as you can see here, I have about 12 different charts to visualize change over time. And these are all great. Some of them could apply to what we're doing here. Oh, And of course, because I pulled this up earlier, there we go. Now it's reloaded. But a lot of great ideas here. So with the data that I'm working with, just because we have such a large data set, I think it's important to kind of have an idea in mind of what you want to visualize. We don't just want to throw everything into this chart, into a dashboard and say, okay, here's every single possible combination of data. Probably want to take it a little like one small step at a time, especially since this Back to Viz Basics is focused on those foundational data skills. So I'm going to choose just to visualize basically one little story. We're going to add in a few filters, and then we're going to go from there. Again, in order to qualify for our competition for this week's challenge, you have to submit your visualization into our Back to Viz Basics tracker. That is the only way that we keep track of or how we're going to look at all the submissions for this week's challenge. So please make sure that you're doing that. Anything else that you need to learn about Back to Viz Basics is here on our website. There is a ton of great information here. We started as a Tableau community project, but we are open to individuals that use other tools, Power BI, ThoughtSpot, Sigma, whatever you want to use to visualize this data. You are more than welcome to participate with that tool and let us know. We're always curious to see how different tools work with the same type of data. All right, enough of the boring housekeeping stuff. Let's get into our Tableau dashboard here. Let me go back and look at this data source here. So I've already connected to my data. Again, want to get in the habit of actually taking a look at everything that you pull into Tableau before you actually start working with it. Make sure that all of your fields are coming in the right way. So it looks like my country here is coming in as a geographic field. That's correct. We want that. Everything else is a string. I could probably update this to be a date. I probably need to write a calculation to do that, but I'm just going to keep it as a string for kind of what I want to work with it today. And then taking a look at our number here, it's coming in as, a whole number. And I believe initially when I brought this in, this was being brought in as a dimension, but I actually already changed it to a measure. So that's something that you'll probably want to do as well. But everything looks good. So let's hop into our sheet here. All right, so we have the academic year, our level, our country, our entrant marker, our level of study, our mode of study, and our gender here, and our number. I actually already have a percent difference, but I'm going to delete that. I was playing around with this before we got started. So all I really want to do is give my users the ability to kind of change the subject, change the country, change the mode of study and the level of study, and visualize the change over time. So I'm actually going to use a bar chart, but then I'm also going to add in just a little bit of extra detail to kind of show the percent difference and whether that increased or decreased, just as kind of like a Boolean field. So I'm going to show you how to do that in our how-to for today. All right, so let's start with our academic year on columns. That's going to give us our headers, and then our number, that's going to be on our rows. So that's going to give us our sum of our number. So that should be this is our obviously total enrollment for everything right now. But let's start to break this down into just kind of the view that I want to create here. So I want to add my level of study here. I'm just going to select medicine and dentistry for our first one. And then we're actually going to bring this all together on a dashboard. So I'm going to show this filter. I want this filter to be a slider. We'll just kind of update this for now because I want my users to be able to kind of quickly, switch through things. I want to add my country as a filter. I'm just going to focus on England for right now. Let's add in our level of study. So I want to focus, right now, I just want to focus on first degree students. And then our mode of study, are they full-time or part-time? Let's go with full-time. Show that filter over here. Right, and then I am actually, because we're celebrating International Women's Day, I'm really only going to focus my analysis on female students. All right, so we can see here at our first look from 2018-19 to 2022-23 that our enrollment for female students in all of these categories that we have selected here has increased, which is great to see. But let's go ahead and just start to format this chart a little bit. So this is where I really get creative and where I'm kind of maybe the pickiest when it comes to data visualization is our formatting. You'll see here that I have some extra lines here. We're working with just like the classic thick tableau or blue here with our thick borders, but let's go ahead and kind of update the way that this looks. And I also want to make this title a little bit more interactive than what we have here just with our sheet 1. So obviously I would name this something more creative, but I want to make this interactive with our filters. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to create a percent difference calculation. So I'm just going to hold down Control and bring over our sum of number. And I'm going to do a quick table calculation and do our percent difference. I'm just interested in understanding what's the percent difference from one year to the next in my enrollment growth. And now that I have this created, rather than having to write the calculation over here, what I can do is actually just drag this over here, and then it's going to create the calculation for me. And I can label this as my percent difference field. And now I can use that anywhere that I like. But I'm actually going to remove it off of here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to create a min of just kind of like a placeholder field here. We're going to set a dual axis for these. And on my min field, I want this to be custom. We're going to do 1 to 2. So I probably could have just set the value to. All right. So my percent difference calc, right now this looks crazy, is down here at the bottom. And then this is my sum of number up here, our bar chart. But let's go ahead and edit our marks here first. So I want my sum of number to be a bar. Let's bring this down a little bit so it's a little bit skinnier. I'm actually okay with this color. I think, let me just, maybe we'll just keep it like a light gray. Okay, and now I'm going to keep my percent difference here at the bottom because I just want this to be kind of like an indicator. So either if it went up, it's kind of a positive color. If it went down, then it's a negative color. So let's go ahead and on our circle here, keep these as circles. We're going to put our percent difference on color. I'm going to edit this color. This is going to be a, let's do, we'll select custom diverging for now. The stepped color is going to be just 2, so kind of positive and negative. And what we're going to do here is under advanced, we're going to set the center as 0. So that means if anything is above 0, then it's positive. If anything is below 0, then it's negative, meaning our negative color will take on this color and our positive color will take on this color. But I'm actually going to update these. So this is going to be my positive blue, and this is going to be my negative orangish red color. We're going to take off the label for this. Default properties, because we're going to add this to our tooltip. We're going to change our number format to a percentage. Okay, that's correct. All right. So this is starting to look good to me. Let's do a little bit more formatting here. So since I have my numbers displayed on my bars, maybe I probably don't need to show an axis here. So we don't need to synchronize these because that would bring our markup a little bit. We can if we want, but I actually kind of like the way that the half circle looks. So if I synchronize these, we're going to get the full circle, but I kind of like the half circle just kind of showing a little bit of it. So it's not really taking over the whole visualization here. I'm going to turn off our header, and then let's get rid of all these extra lines here. So I'm going to go to Format. I'm going to remove my row divider and my column divider. And then under my format lines, under rows, I'm going to get rid of those. And we're going to hide this academic here. All right, let's make our title a little bit more, a little bit friendlier. So let's delete the sheet name. Let's say female enrollment. Say let's add in our level of study. So under insert, so that would be our class. Actually say female enrollment. We'll see about our sentence. Let's add everything in here and then we'll format our sentence. Female enrollment in medicine in let's do our country. Let's do level of study and mode of study. I'm going to make these bold. Let's bring this down to size 12. This makes sense. Female enrollment in medicine and dentistry in England for first degree and full-time students. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's tell this to take up just our entire view so we can see it here. So I'm just making it bigger so we can kind of see everything here. But now as I change my filters, let's try to find one where it decreased. There we go. So our colors are working. So here we can see here for biological and sports science in England for first degree and full-time students that our enrollment for female students was 78,000, but then going into the next year, it decreased. Probably want to add in our percent difference, or we could write another calculation to show the actual number that it decreased or increased. But now I just have a quick visual here to show where it increased or decreased. So, at first glance, these bars are a little close, but with my little visual indicator here, I know that it increased or decreased. Now, we could color the whole bar, but sometimes having those really dominant colors take over our visualization can be a lot. So for something like this, I like, a little bit of a smaller view. Now, I kind of like the way that this looks a little bit more rather than stretched out. But now, when I add this to my dashboard, let's bring out our sheet here. I have my nice little title. Probably want to change the way that these look. So maybe we just keep these as radio buttons for now. Maybe this is a multi drop-down select. Oops. Probably don't need to have our percent difference or our measure names on there. Definitely would want to clean this up a little bit, but maybe add some padding here to our chart. So maybe we bring this padding to I'm just going to bring it in 50. So let's do that for everything. So I'm going to select tiled here, bring our inner padding into 50. Maybe bring this over just a little bit. Maybe we add a bit of a spacing here between our charts. There we go. Oops. All right. So I think this looks pretty good. Maybe, add a little bit more color to the back, like a lighter color to the background, just do a little bit more formatting. Maybe we change this. It looks like I probably need to take out all, since all is already an option for level of study. So under our customize, we can get rid of the all option. That looks a little bit better. And maybe this actually turns into like a multi-value drop-down versus a slider. I do like having like an apply button on there, so that's always something that I like. Probably could have did a little bit more data prep and took out these total, but some other options in here. But now as I select my different options, I can just see how enrollment has changed over time. And I have my quick indicator here to show whether something has increased or decreased. All right, so there you have it, fully interactive. So giving our end users filters to click through. Our title is reactive to what's being filtered for, and we successfully worked with our data to kind of paint just a small little story and show and satisfy the challenge, which was visualizing our data over time. That is all that we have time for today. So thank you for tuning in. I do these how-tos for every challenge. In the past, it's been reviewing submissions, but we've changed it up to actually do a tutorial and demonstrate on how to do the challenge. So I hope that you've been enjoying these. If you have any feedback, any questions on Back2Viz Basics, any data or topics that you want to focus on, we do have a suggestion form on our website. If you don't want to fill that out, please reach out to myself or Shreya. We would be happy to try to incorporate, anything that you want to practice on for future challenges. For our week 4 challenge, remember that this is an actual kind of competition one. If you wish to participate, we're collaborating with the Data Plus Women Tableau user group. There's some swag that you'll be able to win if you finish in our top 3 visualizations, which we'll be showcasing on the 25th of March at the Data Plus Women Tableau user group event, which you can sign up for. So simply search them and register for their event on the Tableau user group website. But thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.